Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, verdict is in. Chiefs win again. What is that? Thanks for watching the premiere. That works out pretty good where we can do that and I not miss the end of the game. So appreciate that. Thanks for watching the premiere. Hope it was good. And I'm just making sure it's good to go. And all that stuff. What is happening? I just got to do a couple things to the video really quick. Dude, I think you guys like those snow videos. So if we're out there doing it, I'm going to film it. And it worked out where it really made sense, where 3 different tires, and you really get to see the difference in performance in that kind of condition. So I thought that was cool. Right now, I'm just going to finish dressing that video up while I've got you really quick, so that video can run and be optimized, at least to a degree. Yeah, dude, those 3D printed trucks are looking pretty sweet. Cannot lie. I cannot lie. I didn't put any music on that one this time. And I want to talk to you guys about something. Let's see, add it to playlist real quick. Let's go RC trucks. It's fine. Yeah, it doesn't translate how big those trucks are unless you're holding one. Great time, great dudes, good time with Kirk and Kelly out there in the woods. By Thursday, I'll have the camera sorted. That could have been anybody's game. That was pretty good. And I like both those teams. So I couldn't have lost today. You know what I mean? I couldn't have lost today, no matter what. I like both those teams a lot. I like the Lions too. But what do we got? Philadelphia? Jalen Hurts? I know. I feel bad for Wrights, actually, a little bit. The Bills are amazing, dude. But they just could not get it going. I don't know how many memes there are going to be about the refs tonight, but it seemed pretty okay. Not glaringly obvious. Kelly, dude, you see the video? I just put it out from yesterday. I just got it out. And I keep on, I know it's guys, talk to me about airplanes, bring up whatever you want. That's fine. But I haven't been flying them. It's wintertime here, and I just haven't been flying them. I've been doing trucks. Me and corporate are in the midst of rebrand negotiations, so I don't know what we're going to do. The new channel is called Everyone Sucks, is what it's going to be called. Oh, I'm sorry. Everybody. That's it. Yeah, Kelly. I thought that video worked out pretty good. I mean, it's hard to beat it. The beauty of the snow and the sun and those big behemoth trucks, man. But yeah, You guys had better tires than I did, and I had to second gear bash through it all. I think there may be something to be said. I need to pick up one of y'all's trucks, but like you guys tell me those bodies aren't as heavy as the stock stuff, which is a little surprising, but that would have had something to do with it too. Plus, like I mentioned, like I got stiffer foams in my tires than stock. So if I had softer foams, it would have been like being aired down. I would have done a little better, but those, bro, with those Mickey Thompsons, you were able to stay in first gear and just like ease up stuff so much better than me and Kirk. Super cool. Those things are, dude, if I only ever do that in the snow and it keeps me out all year, if I don't run those in the summer, it's not the end of the world to me. I have been painting on the big travel all though. And the Unimog is looking pretty good. I got a lot of parts printed for it. So we'll touch more on that on Thursday, I'm pretty sure. I'm actually really liking it for the 6 too, a little bit. Hey, Wild Bill, 1964 F250 short bed. How good looking is that truck? Is that what it was? I took a picture of it today because it looks so good. Yep, 1964 F250 short bed step sides. Damn. Look at that. With a little modern flavor. Sick. So, Victor, you just had a video come out with a successful flight on something or somebody's. What was that? What was that? I don't remember, but it looked cool. A turquoise one, Eddie K. Nice. Yeah, boy, that's good looking. That is good looking. So I'm going to try not to go into it in detail, but I have some things I want to do this year. And I'll talk to you guys about it first. Basically, what it boils down to is I have some ideas about what I want to do in regards to videos I want to make. And they're not reviews necessarily at all, but more that how-to tutorial idea. And kind of like that battery charger video, right? And that battery charger video, first of all, I need to redo it. It's too long. But that's the idea. Do what makes me happy. I like that idea. But there's also a little bit of do what allows you to survive as well. And so I want to do both because surviving makes me happy. So One thing I didn't get to do back in the day, and I knew I was missing the boat on those tutorials and how-to videos, I just didn't have time. I was lucky to keep up with the reviews. Well, now, obviously, the reviews aren't a problem. I don't have them to do. Fresh plate, let's go. So I'm basically asking you guys, what kind of tutorial videos would you want to see? Like I said, I have a goal this year, and I want to do videos like that. And if you think about it, those are the kind of videos that brought you guys to me in the first place years ago, when I would do a build, or I would do a how to program this, or how to change that. So I've got a few ideas of what I think would be important and worth it to make. And it's stuff like reverse thrust, safe, the nose wheel, flaps, how to update, maybe. You know what I mean? So those are the kind of things I'm thinking about. And I wanted to mention it to you guys first, because it's like, what would be the most useful, to see? I feel like I have a pretty good handle on what I think needs to be out there. In the Zoom last night, what was going on in the Zoom? How to use Zoom? So that's the kind of stuff I'm thinking about. And I'm still going to keep on. I mean, I'm just going to keep on doing what I'm doing. I am doing what makes me happy. You know what I mean? "3D details for your planes, cockpit ordnance and pilots." I feel like those files and things are out there already for people. I'm not aiming to design a bunch of stuff. I'm aiming to take advantage of the necessities that are really kind of out there already for the most bang for the buck. Because even though you guys don't need any help assembling an Aero Scout, somebody does. Yeah, Wild Bill. I think the Ultimate is one of those planes that actually, so reverse thrust is one of those things that's like really an option. You have to intentionally make it happen. Except, I think there was the Ultimate that actually had it in the plane out of the box. And so you probably just had to flip a switch. How to fly and land in wind or crosswinds. How to manage a tail dragger and torque rolls. Yeah, that's good stuff too, for sure. What I'm thinking, in a large degree, is doing what I can do. So the flying obviously is hard for me to get done, cameraman style and things like that. So I'm thinking about stuff I can do in the studio, right here in my office. That's the kind of things I'm kind of thinking about. For programming, Yes. There you go, Victor. Nice. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Stuff I can do. I don't need to go anywhere necessarily to do it. I don't need help to make it happen. That's what I'm thinking. Tell me what you guys think. I think I need to change the nozzle on my printer. I have not done it yet. Some short clips, like YouTube shorts or Instagrams. I've done that. Long form is king, really. And I've had short videos do really well. It doesn't necessarily do a lot for your channel. You'll get subs, but they're not long form subs. It's all about the value proposition. You know, there's a ton of folks out there flying these new things, driving these new things that don't give you any value at all, other than you just see the thing in action. And that's fine. I've been that guy too. But I'm wanting to work with what I have. I'm not in that spot anymore where it's keeping up with the Joneses on new releases. You know, I don't have to worry about that. So, yeah, dude, reverse thrust, forward programming. I think that's going to help the most people. You know, you got to think, if you're a YouTuber trying to do this, and I've put my wife through it over this damn channel, so I need to make it work. You know what I mean? I have a side hustle. I just need to do a better job with it. And so if my goal and my dream has always been to make the videos and hope that somebody saw the value in it and that I could make videos for a living, well, I've been close a couple times, but it's not happened. So, I'm tired of waiting. I'm just going to do it. You know what I mean? I'm just going to do it. So, in putting out the effort to do it, I think keeping it simple at first is the way to go to hit the most people. So that's not necessarily really, I think it's repair, but it's not necessarily upgrades. It could be, but more working with what's out there, what we got. I think one thing that's probably super helpful that doesn't seem like it's out there is how many people get a ready to fly airplane with the DXS radio, and then they decide to stick with a hobby and they go ahead and they get a better radio. Well, they get a better radio, and now they want that new radio to act like the ready to fly radio does, and they do not know what to do to try to program that thing, a new one, or to get the plane to act the same. People that are moving in that area still want those progressive modes. So it's like helping them do that is a good one. simply figuring out how to program one of those ready to flies on a good radio is something I think there's a need for. And if you've ever had to mess with a car, calibrating the gyro on those is a whole thing, you know? And I think there's stuff out there on it, you know, here and there. But I don't know. That's what they would call evergreen. Yeah, like rates and expo. To most of us, that's like a no-brainer. But it's like somebody needs to know what that means. How to put your rates on one switch. If you're going with those preset files, they don't go to one switch. Yeah, right, Philip. Yeah. There's a lot of opportunity out there, and I've in a way missed it because I was busy doing the new stuff, and that was cool. But I've told you guys this before. When I was making videos somewhere else for 5 years, this channel was sitting here dead. And one video that always performed no matter what was a radio setup video that Mike filmed. And it always used to blow my mind. But, you know, the new, who's watching videos on the IX or the iPhone 12? When it was new, people watched it like crazy. But once it's not new anymore, who's watching it? You know, so that's the kind of stuff I'm thinking about. You know, and you have to look at guys like Brian Phillips, our buddy. There is no reason in YouTube land why those long videos should do as good as they do, but they do. And that's evidence right there of what I'm saying being true. What's up, John? Yeah, Mike was funny, dude. Mike was funny. Dress up like a doctor and talk about Expo. I mean, hilarious, but helpful, you know. And that was I mean, that all worked. And I want to make them concise. You know, it's one thing for me to sit and do one on a live, but it's not easily digestible. 8 minutes max. Yeah, Mountain RC, exactly. And I think even if I don't have new stuff, I have plenty of stuff. So I can go at it specific to a plane, or I can go at it period. You know, some of the planes are going to be more plug and play style. So what do you do there? You know what I mean? A lot of the Horizon planes, the books are really good. The call outs are really good, and they're very similar, almost to the point where most of us know 100% high rate, 70% low rate. You know, RC Fuzz. Yeah, that was anybody's game for a while. I'm going to turn this heat off. Hold on. And then every now and then something changes when there's an update. I don't know if any of you guys have done the update on your radio to the not just the AS3X Plus, but there's been a new update since the AS3X Plus. The channel assign screen looks different now a little. And what we would have normally been looking at and would have implied like aux 2 channel 7 now says aux 7. So I want to figure it out. You know what I mean? And share that, because I don't think you don't know until you do it. You know what I mean? You don't know until you go through and do it. And the way I learn how to do this stuff is by basically kind of learning how to teach it. Looks different, but still the same. Yeah, I figure you treat this aux 7 like you would have treated aux 2. But until I've run through it and done it personally, it's conjecture. Yeah, thanks, Kelly. I like it too. That snow stuff is nice. And bro, I thought spinning it with the angle on the tires was a good way to justify watching it as well. Dude, Kelly, this Unimog thing is looking pretty good. I need to go through the manual and see what kind of screws they want me to get, because I'm ready to start putting it together. Dude, small little cab be so easy, I think. And once I figure it out and build it on its design for the TRX4, once I see how they do that, then I can scale it up or tweak and adjust, and I think I can make that work also on the big dog. Let me show you the big one real quick, just since it was nice enough to actually get some paint on it. You guys want to see the big one? So you saw the Land Rovers. Imagine this big dog being out here. It's getting there. And that was the body of many colors, as is evidence from underneath. But I spray painted it in a way to do the patina and stuff without sanding or salt chipping it. So yeah, this will be cool. There's a little bit more work to do. Most of the work is going to be in just mounting it up. Clifford, soccer mama wagon. I mean, what? It's huge. It's huge. Clifford, the big red dog. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to end up red, but it's red now. Shaggin' wagon. It looks like a pedal car, like an RC pedal car to me. It reminds me of an old pedal car when I look at that Travelall. Yeah, Philip. And on the SLT, that's true on the cars too, where you've got multiple protocols for things. A mini V8. Cup holders in the top. You had a pedal VW? Fun. It's not a mom wagon, man. If you're not thrashing around on the sixes, they would be great to carry things in. I do like the 10 scale, but in this snowy business we've been in, these big sixes are perfect. You know, absolutely. Perfect. And when it gets nice, Kelly, we got to fly some stuff, man. We go to that place by you or on the water. The 2.9 tires. SCX6 size, 2.9 rims. So the tires themselves are probably 5.5 inches. I'll tell you, hold on. Oh my gosh, no, 7 inches are the SCX6 tires. And this is what I was talking about. The Honcho tires, little bit chunkier lug than my BFGs. These would have done better for me in the snow for a couple reasons. The lugs, but also because the foams are softer than what I have on my Jeep now. And for the Travelall, I think I'm going to paint these white. That or try to get an old steely looking cover to make it look old school. I can't decide on the 6 scale Travelall if I'm going to go kind of like let it be an old truck, but then modern stuff, or if I want to also try to go old school with the way all of it looks. You know what I mean? Because I think you can go new school easy by just, instead of white bumpers, you black them out or you make them out of metal or something. And then you could keep the tires just the way they are. Or you can try to go vintage with the rims somehow. So I don't know yet what I want to do. But dang. I mean, I'm not surprised. When you look at those Baja tires, you're like, these are going to do good. Kelly's tires killed it today. You mean one of these? That's a great idea. That's a great idea, honestly. You just got to clean it up some, but that's pretty good. That is pretty good. Baby moons. Yeah, I'd like to emulate Steely's. You know what I mean? A little bit. So some kind of little hub or dome or moon would be nice. Something to emulate that. old school kind of steely look. Like using marine vinyl to make a tonneau cover. What, for like a truck bed? Bro, I saw a 1964 Ford F250 that looked meaner than hell today. Screenshot style. B-17 turret. That would be fun. Oh no. White wheels of baby moons. Yeah. Yeah, bro. That's kind of what I think too. And I got a few options for tires on the Unimog. I have so many of these. You see Unimogs all the time with tires like this, but the steelies are like red. These are the same size as crawler tires. They're too skinny, but they're definitely going to run on that thing at least a couple times. I think it'll look good. But I got to get pictures of my buddy has a real Unimog in Muncie, and it's pretty dope. I need to get some pictures of it because I'll probably aim at that one. But there's some pretty neat ones out there just on a basic Google search. I'm printing the body gray because I could almost leave it that way. But his is black. So I don't know yet. Mercedes. Yeah, I'm excited to see this all come together because what I learned from building it the way they designed and intended it will tell me a lot about what I've got to work with. I feel like repurposing it for different sizes is a good idea. Actually. So yeah, I know we started late today. I'm not going to keep you forever because I want to get to work actually. All right, Kelly, see you. See ya. So yeah, got to watch the game this time. A lot of times I'd pinch it, so I made it here, but I didn't want to miss that one. And so that premiere worked out perfect, actually. I think pretty good. So thanks for that. And yeah, I should do a poll. Can I do it on my phone? because I'm live right now. Yeah, and if you haven't seen it, and you want to, we put 3 SCX6s through tire trial test today, and I invite you to check that out and comment and stuff. And you know, when we're crawling and it's not snowy, a lot of times it is pretty slow going, and it makes sense. But boy, you're in the power a lot on a day like today, and I definitely was, just to keep it going, to get it through. Yeah, I can't get in there to do it right now. Oh well. An applause meter, yeah. What's up, Greg? So, yeah, before I let you guys go, let's break it down. If you were picking a tutorial, what would you pick? Flight modes, forward programming, reverse thrust, or rates and expo. What would you do? What would you want to see first? The third. What's the third? Jeff's about to start a boss says forward programming. I knew that's what I knew you would. Dad said rates and expo. Forward programming, all of it. Yeah. Seriously. Forward programming, rates and expo, anything. Yeah, I'm going to make them short, I think. A little bit easy to digest, not any longer than they have to be. I'm legit aiming on 8 minutes, because if it's 8 minutes long, you can, when you monetize a video, if it's 8 minutes long, they'll put ads in the middle too. This is my side job. So, yeah. If I was a plumber, I wouldn't be afraid of making money. But if it's art or something you like, you always feel guilty. I don't feel guilty. I don't think it's even about links near as much for me these days as it used to be. Try to use them. I don't know if they work. So, unlocking a receiver. Yeah. And there's always a little bit of and I don't know exactly, because there are some receivers. If it's a 636, you're not going to see me do it. I'm not going to mess with a 636. Marshall did a hell of a job with the 636s. Nothing against being a plumber. I'm just saying, like, if you're a plumber, were you ever afraid to charge for it? Probably not. But if you're a creator or artistic, this feels like this feels like a creative, artistic kind of outlet producing content. So I think for some reason, some of us feel bad wanting to make money. I've started this. It's been going a long time. It used to do pretty okay. Not okay enough to be a full-time job, but okay enough to help around here with a fam. And so, like, I just want to do a better job for multiple reasons, but there's definitely a need for some of this stuff. And I have to compete where I can compete. And if I'm not getting the stuff anymore, then that's what I'm going to do. And I think it's super helpful. So yeah, unlocking a receiver. There are some 637s that were locked. There were some 636s that were locked. But the 636, what you have to learn to program a 636 to me seems like, why? Because nothing is like that anymore moving forward, and I would rather not have somebody learn an obsolete skill. And so yeah, Philip said he's got a video on that stuff. The more the merrier. 5 minutes is a good runtime on that. I just think there's some nuance, especially where there's nuance. There's some nuance to setting up safe that the best books don't tell you. Right? Like, where did you learn? This happens, I think, all the time where somebody's got safe set up. Everything is right. The surfaces wiggle twice. Everything is right, but they still can't flip the switch and it do what they want it to. How many times is the reason it's not showing itself because they didn't tell each mode how they want to access the gains? When you come in, when you're done with that setup and you're in forward programming and it says you AS3X gains and it says fixed/adjustable, it's not obvious that you have to pick one of those things, fixed or adjustable, for each flight mode. So you could have everything right, but if you don't confirm this part of the setup, it's not going to work right. You're not going to see it on the switch you want, or it's on all the time, or it says it's on, but you can't get it on. And it's because in flight mode 1, you pick fixed and you have to say fixed 3 times for pitch, roll, and yaw. Flight mode 2, you have to say fixed for the all 3 axes. Flight mode 3, you got to do it again. So 9 times you have to tell it what you want and confirm it to be able to actually see it. Whether you choose fixed or adjustable. And I think adjustable, that may be something I get to later. I think knowing that you can only adjust down makes it a why bother for me. And I think if I'm trying to talk to and help out newer time, lower time pilots, or anybody who's needing help with this, if you're needing help with this, then the person giving you the advice, me in this case, is going to recommend you keep it simple. Don't worry about adjustable gains. I'll show you how to make a flight mode with nothing on it. But some of that stuff you do need to learn on your own. you know, if you want to do that stuff. But I think the simple things that are going to help the most people is what I want to do. I always go with the default numbers, except for that third mode. I'll put it at 0. Dude, NX10 is a great radio. NX10, NX8, all that stuff is great. I would like to get my hands on an IX just so I know how to get around it. That's crazy, Francis. Yep. I'm not going to wait for my ship to come in. I'm going to build it. That's where I'm at. And I think doing so my only experience with flight modes has been messing with the safe, you know, an AS3X, you know, the gains and all. I need to learn flight modes for like flaps for folks who don't want to do flap to elevator mix and they want to be able to adjust it in the air, which makes sense. I think that's a good one too. And the IX is the same, just looks different. But what's different though is the way you would update it though, right? Because you're not messing with the Google Play Store on your NX and DX radios. You know what I'm saying? So that's, yeah, I would imagine the programming, yeah, it's just going to look a little different, but it very much is the same. But the update of it all is going to be different, is what I'm talking about. And I'm kind of at the point where I want to know how to do everything. Yeah. I had a truck, the Vortex, from a while back that we thrashed it, mud, just killed it. And we couldn't get it to work. And I'm thinking, this thing is broken. I need a new ESC or a new receiver. Well, again, with stuff that's not super easy to find, you can calibrate and recalibrate, factory reset. If you accidentally set something or entered programming mode and you didn't know, whatever, or somebody tried to fix it by pushing a bunch of buttons or even turning stuff on in the wrong order, you can create the need to have to rebind and maybe calibrate that system. And it's even harder on the systems that have AVC, which is the vehicle version of AS3X. So I played around with it again because I've been messing with the throttle calibration, AVC calibration business on surface vehicles. And I was like, you know what? Let me pull back out this car that I don't think works and see if that fixes it. You already know what I'm going to say. Guess what? fixed it. So, you know, I think there's a lot of folks that would benefit from, and when you read the literature on how to do it, just like with forward programming, I don't know if it says it anywhere that you have to select fixed or adjustable. Back in the day, when you did the switch 5 times, it wasn't going to work if you were not in high rate. Where does it say that? Even if it does say that, there's no harm in reiterating that. So that's kind of stuff I'm thinking about, because I don't have to have anybody sending me stuff to be able to do those kind of videos. So it's a little bit of a watch this. And like I said, going back to 5 years of this channel being dead, but one how to program a radio video always seemed to perform. Why'd I take so long? I mean, partly I know why. I had a shop and I went through RC hell, but let's go. NX6 with the receiver 400. That's not, is that a great deal? Is that Canada money? Oh, 150 American, that's good. That's not bad at all. What's up, Spencer? Yeah, bro. And I think I can do some of that. And it may not be flying. It may be some of that program stuff. I don't want to communicate super clear, but I have some. One good way to kill your plans is to talk about them, like, especially specifically. So I don't want to do that, because then it's all about dopamine, dude. If you talk about your plans, your brain thinks you did them. Your brain thinks you actually did those things, but all you did was talk about it. So I'm going to try not to exactly communicate exactly what my goals are this year. You'll just see, you know, deadlines are the worst. They've also been good to me in a way, but I have to figure out how to do it on my own without the pressure, because I don't have the pressure of releases. So I got to do it on my own. But that also means I can pick what I want to do and I can kind of make a plan. My call-in number, there isn't one. Urban Legend RC, what's up, dude? Are you guys done already? I was going to pop over when we got done. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. That is how the mind works, man. I'm not making this stuff up. It's just been observed before. Charlie. And really, if you're new here, I'm not trying to be dismissive or funny about it. If you're literally wanting to call in, I mean, the best thing to do is just make your comment or question here in the chat. And if I don't know, someone in the chat will know. And we can talk about it. My wife wants me to start doing repairs, like car and plane repairs. I'm like, that would mean everyone has to be in town, basically, or be willing to send stuff in. And I didn't want to shoot it down as a bad idea, but I just don't see it. But guys, some of you guys have heard me talk about Urban Legend RC. he's got a group of guys that are having an absolute blast, and they're the guys flying drones and helis and planes also. It's mostly surface, but these guys are streaming like on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, and they're all putting out. Every one of the guests that's on the panel have YouTube channels as well. There's a guy named Louie who's making light sets. They're very active. It's a lot of fun. I've been popping over there when they've been on. I need to watch some of the videos, but I've been catching the lives. And Chastity or whatever, it kills me every time. I don't know what it means. I'm sure it's an inside joke, but I just think it's funny. And you guys are doing a good job. I think you're doing a good job of like kind of branding yourself and the experience of being with you. And the fun zone, yeah. And so you always say that. I'm getting ready when you're signing off. I'm literally about to write it in the comments, and you always say it first before I get a chance. So I never write it in there, but you always get a kick out of everybody. So I think that's fun. Yeah, Wild Bill's got it. Yeah, check out Urban Legend RC, guys. Especially my surface friends, you know. But anybody, period, who's into a good time would enjoy checking these dudes out. Bill, where'd you say that? Yeah. Yeah, man. Collabs are good for, yeah, man, they are. They are. They are. And you know, it's funny, like a lot of you guys have been with me since, I feel like that I started this stream. I don't think it was even a thing on YouTube for very long when I started it, because it was a podcast for a minute. And then I was like, that's silly. If everybody already knows me from video, why am I going to send them somewhere else where you can't see nothing? And so I feel like live streams just became a thing, really, to the masses, and that I got on it pretty much right away. But I haven't done much other than show up consistently. There's absolutely zero production for the most part. The Mass Pilot, thanks for coming by. Yeah, we're having a good time, man. And I mean, if you look back on the channel, I have flown a ton of different foamies that have been made over the last, I mean, I started in 2012 on this channel. Really, until lately, I was doing all the new stuff. But there's good stuff out there, and we have a good time. And we do these lives once a week for like 6 years. And I'm doing a surface live now on Thursdays, and a lot of custom crawler builds, 3D printing, and stuff like that. So having a ball. Welcome. So any more questions? I think we have a pretty good idea about some of the first tutorials I want to do. And you guys are thinking the same thing that I was, which is like hit them with the heavies first. What's going to be the most helpful is, I think, getting people a real hands-on, step-by-step, how to set up safe. But not just how to set up safe, but how to make sure that when you're done, it's right. Because I see some people that they'll check to see if safe is, I think they have such a hard time just getting it set up at all, that all they're checking for is that it's actually on. So they'll flip the plane upside down just to see those surfaces do go crazy. Well, if you're upside down and the surfaces go crazy, yes, you know that safe is on. But no, you don't know if it's the right direction yet. And because it's so hard to see in AS3X, the correction direction, safe, even for folks who don't want to fly with safe, if you're setting up a plug and play, I mean, you can pretty much count on a bind and fly is going to be correct directionally. But if you're setting up a plug and play, or if you just want to verify, which is smart when you're putting up this kind of money to verify that everything is right, I'm a creature of habit where I will always set my dual rates to the F switch. I always put safe on the B switch, unless it's an ultra micro. And with safe and verifying the correction direction, I always put the plane in a left bank as if I'm sitting in it. Every time. Left roll, safe is initiated. The right aileron should be deflected upwards to essentially level the plane. Left, like you're sitting in the seat. Boom. That right aileron should be up because the airflow will set it down, and you're going for level. Gyro rate too high. Yeah, pre-flight. And I think with flight modes, you want to make sure that people do set up a third rate with no gains on it. But these are other things to think about. If it's a bind and fly, you're limited in what programming you can do, unless you concede to factory reset the receiver, which under normal circumstances I would never recommend because they come so good out of the box. So there's a lot. And the ultimate goal has always been, I'm rooting for the hobby, which means I'm rooting for us, the consumer, to understand the stuff and how to use it, which also means you're rooting for the companies who sell it. Pre-programmed are different sometimes. Yeah. And I think there is room to make videos that editorialize and speak from authority on why. Maybe I explain why I don't do presets. Right? Let's talk about it right now while we're here. Why don't you do presets, Ryan? I don't do presets from a file online somewhere or even in the radio for that particular model for one reason I can think of right away. When you do that, first of all, people go for the presets in the files because they think it's going to save them from going through the hoops of setting up safe. Every plane has two setups these days. Because of stability, not only do you have the flight control setup, but you also have the stability setup. Nuance. That's what you get from someone with experience. As you guys know, if you jump the gun and go into the stability before you set up the flight controls, guess what, homie? You're going to be doing it again. Or you're going to crash the plane. Right? So set up the flight controls. And the reason I don't like the presets is because I'm always kind of thinking about new people. Are you learning how to set up the radio if you're doing presets? Are you learning how to set up the radio if you're grabbing a file from somewhere else to put on the radio to save time? You guys know how to set up a plane, that you can do the whole thing by the book, by yourself, in less time than it would take messing around grabbing a file. When you grab a file, there's nuance with that as well. If it's a DX radio, then it's a 16 gigabyte card, class 4 or below. If you got an NX radio, then you can have a 32 gig card that's class 6. What? Also, if you, let's say you downloaded the file you want, right, onto your computer. Well, let's say you didn't think you downloaded it right. And so you did it again. And now you put that file in your card. Now you put that card in your radio. And you go through all this mess to try to save time. And guess what? It doesn't work. You know why? Because it's an identical file. You already had it on your computer. And when you downloaded it the second time, now there's a number in the file. So because there's a number in the file, it's not going to work. So perfect file name, perfect SD card, hoping it translates and none of it's corrupted going into the radio, just to save from having to learn how to work the freaking radio in the first place. Learn how to use the radio. Set it up by the book. It's so easy. And when you do the presets or when you do a file from somewhere, again, I feel like it's something that a lot of new folks go for. Now you've got a new person that's got to know how to operate their flaps, their landing gear, maybe the safe switch. And now they got to know 3 other switches for the rates. 3 other switches on top of all that. So if you set it up by the book, you can follow the book to a T, but instead of having individual switches for aileron and elevator and rudder, put them all on one switch. And one reason why you want to do that is because it's easy. Always do it the same, so you remember. It's not different every time. Another reason is if you are in safe, the plane wants to be in high rate. Because even in high rate, you guys with experience know that safe severely limits the throw deflection of the plane, where it feels like it takes a lot to come around. What if dudes knew they're in low rate? Like us guys with experience know, even in high rate, like I already know, and I trust it now at this point that I got to stay buried in the sticks, coordinate the rudder too, or the turn's going to be forever far away. If you're new or inexperienced, you maybe won't trust that all to give it that much stick. So you potentially are having a flyaway because you don't want to ham fist the sticks that hard. And so, and let's say you're in low rate also instead of high. So now you've got even less control surface response to the input you're giving it. Bro, now you're so far away, you don't know what it's doing. Are you smart enough to flip safe off to bring it back over? If you're that far away and you don't know the orientation of the plane, when you do flip safe off, you got to have, you're going to be lucky to get it back. I think safe's awesome. I'm not talking trash about it. I just think you have to know what it does. And I think when you set up a plane to have the rates all on one switch, it's better for a multitude of reasons. I mean, I think, even though I didn't mention it, I think, I mean, this is obviously why it's working for Brian. As a non-event as I think it is to set one up by the book, I think it must be hugely beneficial for folks to see that. You can adjust the rates of safe for each surface. Yeah, I wouldn't. I've heard not to mess with the safe rates and gains. By default, they've always been spot on. Like, I legit do not mess with them. Safe is what it is. No matter what. Plug and play, bind and fly, whatever. And it's a can of worms. My angle is, it's always been the same. Like, I remember watching other guys do review videos on planes, and they'd be changing all this stuff. And I think it was just to make themselves look smart. And I'm like, you're turning people off. Just fly it the way the manufacturer sent it to you. It's a slap in the face not to fly it the way they send it. Now, I think from there you can talk about it. Even on a plug and play, I don't mess with the safe settings. And I say this all the time. Even on a plug and play, the default gains on AS3X of 40, 50, 60 has been fine for me every time but once. And the only time that those 40, 50, 60 gains were not good for me was on a wooden airplane with full strip ailerons and large surfaces. So I had to dial them down a lot. I didn't crash it. It just oscillated at speed. So again, good reason to have one mode with nothing on it. Anybody who needs safe shouldn't be messing with gains. Pretty much. They're good. They're good. Leave them alone. I think, and I've played with them, and I think I crashed the plane because of it. I was even told to not mess with it. And I did it anyway. And I lost the bird. All because I wanted to see more elevator with safe on. You can confuse the gyro. Smarter people than us program this stuff. So I tend to go by default. If the flaps want to be aux 1, channel 6 on the D switch, that's where they're at. If the gear wants to be on A, that's where it is. If safe wants aux 2, channel 7, fine. Throttle cut likes H. Not here to argue. Okay. Every time. Every time. And yeah, dual rates. The books should almost just say triple rates at this point, but I think they're afraid to make it sound like work. I always set them up now that same way, Bill. If most of these books call for 100% high rate, sometimes they'll mention 10% expo. They'll call out for 70% low rate with a 5% expo. Most of these radios have 3-position switches now all over. So what are you going to do with the extra one? I always make the middle 85, and I'll put it at 10% expo as well. Call it a day. Yeah, boss. And that's where not adding in, not mixing in rudder, but that's where coordinating with rudder helps. To tighten up a turn if safe has made it big. And again, I just think it's cool tech. It's especially for those who are learning, but it's always been the same recommendation. As soon as you can get out of it, get out of it. You know, use safe to save your landing gear and help you on your landings, but you don't really necessarily need it for flying circuits. And as you know, if you're in safe you're learning a heavy hand bad habit. So I don't think there's any shame in using it, and use it how you want. But for me, I would say takeoffs and landings for people that have experience is really the only time you're going to need it, unless you want to hand it to somebody or you fly through the sun or whatever. You know what I mean? Something like that. So, imagine being new at this. Remember being new at this? There was none of this other stuff to learn. You just did it. I remember feeling like I was some kind of genius when I realized I didn't have to be at 100% throw on everything. And I started dialing down to dad knows. I was dialing my stuff down to 70% and thought I was some kind of genius because I was actually able to fly my planes now. They came in kind of hot, but I was able to fly them. But at that time, I didn't know what I needed to do to slow it down anyway. So coming in kind of hot was fine. Yeah, there's a lot to do to this stuff now, Um, and that's why I think, when you do have somebody who decides to get into the hobby and they get an Aero Scout or a apprentice and they work it out. They actually decide to stay with the hobby. And then what happens? They think it's all going to be as easy as that was because those planes come pre-programmed. It's no safe select because it's already done for you. It is already there. 3 different progressive modes. When those people, and we want them to stay in the hobby, when they decide to stay in the hobby and they get themselves a good radio, they want to fly the plane that they know. They may even have a new plane waiting, but they're smart to want to fly the plane that they know already. And when they go from a ready to fly that all you had to do was charge the battery and put the plane together to now I have to program this, it all of a sudden it's not really like a bind and fly anymore. It's almost like putting them in a plug and play right away if they're going with a new radio. Everyone flies different, hard to make one setting for all. I don't know, man. Those defaults work pretty good, you know? And I think there's a point where it becomes, yeah, when you actually know what you're seeing and what you're doing and what you want, you guys that have been doing it long enough to have a discerning eye and feel, yeah, man, set them up the way you want. Um, but I've always been, in a way, cognizant of the out of the box experience and wanting to keep as close to those recommended call outs for ease of use. Ease of use on my end, ease of use for the the viewer or the consumer. Um and if I'm saying the same thing that the book does, it's hard to argue with that. How to stop buying planes. I have 50 and want more. Good luck. It is a foamitis. Yeah, and there are worse things you could be doing. You know, you could be messing with trucks. These are easier to store. The planes are all over the place, up against the wall, hanging up in the garage, in the basement. But that's what I'm wanting to get back to a little bit. Do what I can. I don't get the new thing, whatever, fine. You can't buy it when it's new anyway. You got to wait. And you're competing with the vendor anyhow, because they're going to hit social with it first. So I'm a little bit over that part of it, but I'm really feeling like back to the old days in a way. And what we did in the old days worked. So guys, check out your buddies. Check out Wild Bill's Real Flight Fly-In Monday night, 9:30 Eastern Time, 6:30 California time. Wild Bill's channel. It's a Real Flight Fly-In. He MCs it. It's a live stream, but you can hop in the room with the 8675309 entry passcode, and you can fly with a bunch of dudes here in this room right here and others. 3 views and start from scratch. What, on a plane? Yeah, that's not me. That's not me yet, or maybe ever. The guy who can build his own planes doesn't need help the same as the folks who are getting into it. I've been rooting for the hobby, and it's like I want it to do well. I want people to have good experiences with it so they keep coming back. And it's actually selfish. The reason I want the hobby to do well, and the reason I want the people who are in it or new to it to do well, is because I personally want to see less beginner planes. I want them to get past it, more choices, make warbirds great again. There was a time when that's what we were pining for all the time, because all of the new foamy releases for the longest time were warbirds. Now you don't know what you're going to get. Jets have come in, timbers are big. You don't know what you're going to get. It seems like we're getting less of those. So it's a little selfish, the reason I want everyone else to be successful, because I want the hobby to move on. You know, you're going to always have beginner planes, but let's get folks into these hot rods. Let's help them, because we'll get more of them ourselves if we can do that. You know, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, look, guys, and that's I got to keep that in mind too, because it is true. There are folks who have been in it for a long time who do build their own planes. And that's my fault for putting the two together, because just because you can build a plane doesn't mean you know squat diddly about the radio. So there's still a need for sure for those guys. And think about how many older guys have a bunch of planes, but their old stuff has finally given up. Or they're finally like, okay, I'm gonna do electrics now. And so, I mean, I'm going to start where I start, which is going to be on this stuff that I think is the most accessible or widespread need, and go that way. 50 planes is overwhelming. Here's how you get more planes. find the swap meet in your area and get rid of some. That way you can buy more. That's the trick, man. That's the trick. Why isn't one enough? Open up the closet and check out her shoes. Check out her shoes. Check out her handbags. Don't be mean about it, but just point it out. Why isn't one enough? Because they all fly different. And they're cool. Yeah, dude. Fred, I missed it, but you talking about the Bills. Yeah, I would have been happy almost either way today. You know what I mean? I would have been happy either way. I like the Bills. I like Josh Allen. It's too bad. I mean, I kind of wanted to see the Bills and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, but it doesn't work that way. Well, I've got 100 planes. What's that called? Crazy, bro. Crazy. I'll fly it says swap meets are a blast. I always did pretty good at them. I only go to one a year that's local. Otherwise, I'm not. If I would be selling stuff, I don't normally shop at them. But I would maybe now, you know. The next one is always better. Yeah, it's fun to pine over the next one, you know. And I did that for the longest time, and it was cool. And for a while, I always knew what was coming next. And next would be 6 months, sometimes a year before you finally saw it. And it was brutal to keep it to yourself. Don't have to worry about that anymore. And that's fine. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just felt like last year nobody could handle the heat off of his cannon, Josh. And then, man, they were killing it this year. There were games, and whenever they had a game, if I didn't get to watch it, I was always bummed out because I wanted to. When they were on, when the Bills are on, they were on. But sometimes it's just if they can't get going, it seems like they just don't get going. I feel like when you talk about football, it's like a weatherman talking about like 50% chance of weather or whatever. I mean, even the announcers, they say stuff. It's like, yeah, of course they got to stop the run. Like, no kidding, Sherlock. Addicted to getting stuff in the mail. That's a pretty good one too. Dude, dopamine comes in many shapes and forms. Even releasing these videos, not the live so much, but like a video and the engagement and all that stuff, comments, it's a thing. The 2.1 carbon cub is fantastic, dude. I will always have one. I should put lights on it. I mean, I don't know why the lights from the Carbon Z Cessna 150 should fit perfect on there. See you slaps later, dude. Appreciate you, man. I know I haven't come over to any of those Zooms lately, but don't quit asking. I've actually been way more productive lately, staying home in this room, getting work done instead of splitting to get a snack, like I used to do just to get out. So yeah, it does need lights on it. Like that's the only thing. Happy to see the FedEx guy. Dude, I'm happy to see the FedEx guy, even if it's not for me, man. Just in the neighborhood, I'm always like, dang, I wish I was getting something, but I'm still glad to see him. 1.2 T28 is awesome. I'd like to have another one. I've had a few, and I gave them up. I killed one at a show and let a kid keep it to fix it, and then another one I think I gave to a kid in Muncie. I can't remember. I might have sold it to a kid for next to nothing. But yeah, started the show later today. It's good. It's time. This would have been the 2-hour mark under normal circumstances. Some of you guys were here for the premiere, which allowed me to watch the rest of the football game. So thank you. If you do like trucks, I did just put out a video right before this show with 3 large SCX6s, 2 of them custom Land Rover 3D printed bodies on 3 different sets of tires in the snow, traction test, beautiful setting. And I think I filmed good crawler videos. It may not be a crazy bunch of like transitions and crap, but like if you want to see these things down low doing their thing, I was there. And you can be too by just watching it. I think it's solid. So yeah, check out that snow video. Check out any of the videos. I appreciate that. Most of you guys have already. So we'll see you in the next one. Yeah, Carbon Z T28 should never go away. That's a video too, man. The struts. I need to get those bloody struts. See, I don't want to pay for stuff. I'm a little bit used to not having to. So I'm going to do all the stuff I can do first without that. And if I can get this thing running again, like I used to have this thing going, I mean, the channel used to do good. It's my fault, you know, a little bit, but I mean, the channel bought my MacBook and my camera and stuff like that. And right now I'm like being a tight ass about a set of struts for an upgrade job. So yeah, but I think lots of cool stuff coming. I think we're going to get down to some of this, not really glamorous, but kind of tutorial video. And I think that strut mod on the T28 would be a fantastic video. And I want that on my plane. The channel got me the 3D printer. Yeah. So there's things that the channel has allowed me to be able to buy because of it. And there's a lot of stuff that because of having the channel, I didn't have to. Yeah. I think I'll keep going with that. You know, appreciate you guys. We'll see you in the next one. We're out of here in 5. Hang rats forever. 3 you later. You're too good to be forgotten. We will see you next time. Check out your friends on Wild Bill's stream. Jeff and Laura Alabama does a stream. Fred Barron's got a couple YouTube channels. Our buddies came by earlier from Urban RC. Check them out. Anybody else? Phillips rocking it right now. Where's he at? Check out your friends. If you guys do Facebook, connect with each other on RC Pilots Lounge Facebook group. I'll let you in. It's fairly active. I mean, that's a pretty active Facebook group that I really started as a supplement to this live stream, but everybody's posting up their stuff and the videos they're making and all that kind of thing on the RC Pilots Lounge Facebook group. So there's links to the other socials in the description and all that good stuff. All right. Appreciate y'all. Spit shine country. We'll see you next time. Appreciate you guys, man. All you cats that pop in every video and comment, you guys that are still members of the channel, man, appreciate that. Some of you guys are just there always, and I thank you very much. And that's most of you guys in this room. So thanks. We'll see you. Bye now. Boom.